This happened so long ago that many details have become hazy. It wasn't like it just happened yesterday, but I'll do my best to recount what I remember, filling in gaps with how I recall the events. It was the last day of school and I was in the 4th grade. At our school, 4th grade was the last year where students had to be picked up by their parents. 5th graders were allowed to walk home on their own. My mum usually picked me up on the last day of school. My friend Dennis and I had planned a playdate to celebrate the occasion. Dennis wasn't in my class that year, but we'd been friends since kindergarten. After the school day ended, we lined up single file and walked to the exit, where our teacher, Miss Blue, supervised. I waited outside, scanning the crowd of parents arriving and leaving in the parking lot. Then, I heard my name being called. "Tommy! Tommy!" I turned to see a man waving at me as he approached. He introduced himself as Dennis's uncle, saying he was there to pick me up. I informed Miss Blue, "I'm being picked up," and she asked, "Where is he, sweetie?" I pointed to Dennis's uncle, who waved at her, and she dismissed me to go with him. As we navigated through the crowd, he talked quickly and nervously with a slight stutter. His walking pace was so fast that I struggled to keep up with my backpack. He explained that Dennis's dad was delayed at work, so he was taking me instead. We reached his car, a dark red hatchback, and I suddenly realized something strange. Where was Dennis? Why weren't we picking him up? The man glanced back at me in the car and explained that Dennis was already at his house. I was shy around strangers, especially adults, and didn't speak up, despite feeling uneasy. The drive felt unusually long for a small town where houses were close together. My house was just a 5-minute walk from the school, yet we were heading into an unfamiliar area. When we arrived at his house, it looked normal enough. He led me inside, locking the door behind us. The interior was dark, with all the curtains shut, making it feel like nighttime despite it being daylight. A dim lamp in the corner provided the only light. I asked, nervously, "Where's Dennis?" His demeanor became even more jittery as he replied, "Oh, he's downstairs playing video games, wait here." He then disappeared into a nearby room and descended into the basement. My heart was pounding as I realized I was in danger. I tried the front door, but it was locked with a mechanism that needed a key. Panicked, I searched for a way out and found a phone in the kitchen. Whispering, I dialed 911 and said, "Please come to this house, I've been kidnapped." The operator acknowledged me, but I didn't stay on the line. I hid the phone under a towel and returned to where the man left me as I heard his footsteps coming back upstairs. He called out, "Tommy, come down." Dennis is here, but when I didn't respond, he came upstairs to find me. His fake friendly smile disappeared, and he grabbed my wrist aggressively, pulling me toward the basement. Terrified, I screamed and cried, but he yelled back, "I'll let you go if you stop and behave." I reluctantly complied and went down the stairs. The basement was dark and unfinished, with a single light bulb casting a depressing yellow glow. It was the kind of place you'd imagine in a nightmare. I heard his heavy footsteps upstairs and realized I was trapped. Soon, he came to the basement door, asking if I was hungry. I lied and said no, hoping he wouldn't notice the phone missing from the kitchen. A while later, the doorbell rang repeatedly, followed by loud banging, the unmistakable sound of police at the door. I stayed silent until I heard loud footsteps and shouting. I screamed for help, pounding on the basement door. It unlocked, and a police officer pulled me out. Outside, there were several police cars and the man was being arrested. I later learned he was a work acquaintance of Dennis's father who had seized the opportunity to impersonate a guardian. My parents were furious with the school for not verifying who was picking me up. If I hadn't called 911, I might not be here today. This incident happened 17 years ago, and I try not to dwell on it too much, but it's a reminder of how a quick decision can save a life.